Hi, Don.
Hi, Jacob.
Hi, Dean.
Hi, Dean.
Hi, guys.
We have another guest. It's the Dean.
I'm the Dean.
Yeah. BFD, as some of you know him, but we won't go into that.
Best friend Dean.
Yep, best friend Dean. Look, we already broke her. 30 seconds into the podcast, and she's already
man.
broken.
I wasn't ready for that one.
Yeah. I've been storing it up for weeks since we decided to bring Dean on.
Rolodex.
So, Dean,
Yes.
how do you know us? How do we know you?
We've been co-working photographers for 12 years.
Come on now. 2011 for me.
2014 for me.
So math.
Math.
35 years.
That sounds right.
That feels good.
Yeah.
And then we oddly became friends. And we're all in our photo/friend bubble. And it's,
Correct.
It's awesome.
You're even in one of our. I think so far. We should
yeah.
just.
Oh my
everyone,
gosh.
Let's interview
Yes.
everybody on that
In the
card.
picture,
there.
yeah.
So we have that picture up that's been up since the first episode. And yeah, everyone we've brought. Well, Stephanie's not in it.
Yeah.
But she was there that day.
She was there. Well, I'm not even in that
That's
photo.
true.
Because Stephanie and I were
But
shooting a
Crystal is.
wedding.
Yeah.
But yeah, so Amanda's in there. Okay, yeah, we were all on that trip together. So in case you're wondering, the picture is from a photography conference.
Yes.
That's why we were all together on a trip. But
In 2016.
I want to say 16, but
Might be 15.
Was it imaging?
No, it was WPPI.
Remember, because you were
when
in
we went to
Vegas.
California.
Oh, that was 2018 then. The PPA one was 2016 in Georgia. I remember that
Oh,
one.
yeah, because I was skinny when we went to WPPI.
I'm not going to comment and just continue talking about the podcast. So we've been friends and coworkers for 400 years.
Yes.
But how did you start? Like, what's your photography journey?
I started photography as a lot of us people do in yearbook in high school.
Nerds.
And then, yeah, nerds. And then I took it up in college as my 5th or 6th major. And I got a degree in photography and came down on the Walt Disney World College program.
Hey-o.
Right. And then
What'd you do on the college program?
I originally started out as a friendship boat captain
Yeah.
at Epcot.
yeah.
And that was
The boats that go from, like, the resorts to?
correct. And then that was a little boring for me. And then I switched into working Epcot events. And I went from 32 hours a week as a friendship boat captain to 90 plus, helping out with events.
Shout out to events.
Yeah, sounds about right.
Yep.
And then slowly worked my way in that world. And then I got into the tail end of my program was helping with media relations. So I worked with the film crews around the parks and setting all that up. And then started helping out with what was Disney Event Group and is now Disney Fine Art Photography. And then I came in one day to help, like, shadow. And they're like, hey, do you want a job? And that was May of 2000, and I said yes. Yes, I would like a full-time job using my degree as a professional photographer.
Absolutely.
And then at that time, I was more the event side of photography. So conventions, cocktail receptions, Grip and Grins awards, and then
A lot of Mickey Mouses.
a lot of Mickey Mouses, and then transitioned over the course of my 25-year career with Walt Disney World, and now I'm primarily a wedding photographer, as we all are, and that's pretty much the capacity I met you guys at. Was you guys were the young bucks coming in, and then now
little babies.
and now we all pretty much succeed at what we do most days.
I mean, that's
Yeah.
irrelevant.
I mean,
Yeah.
and then we
Success is a relative term.
we work together at work, and then outside of work we can, we all call on each other if
Sure.
Jacob can't do a gig and Don can't, we have this network of friends. And
I've been your second. You've been my second. Conventions.
and then we've done some random, like, convention groups. We all took a road trip to Miami, I remember.
Yep.
I forgot. I blocked that out.
Ryan
Where-
even came on that
Yeah.
one.
where we got paid to run SD cards
Yeah.
or like 3 hours, and then we hopped in the car and came back home. It was very weird, but
I think that was the highest dollar amount I'd ever been paid per hour.
For the least amount
outside
of work.
yeah. Outside of like for something where I've been freelance.
Correct.
right
At
Yeah.
the time.
at the time.
And
No,
again,
still to this day,
Really?
doing freelance. Yeah, because it was more than I get paid for my freelance weddings per hour.
I don't remember how much it was. I just remember
like-
we did absolutely nothing.
We just ran SD cards. I'm pretty sure it was $125 an hour. It was something ridiculous.
Yeah.
I'll take that. Mm-hmm. But in our world, like I've called on Jacob. We did this freelance photography gig where we checked in people for headshots and then helped get
God.
them ready. And we did that for
That's
like
right.
3 or 4 years, and it was a kind of like a butter gig. We just sat there and we're
Yeah.
like we got fed and just hung out and
Watched our iPad.
Yeah.
It was for like headshots, wasn't
Yeah,
it?
headshots. And we
weren't
only-
even the photographers.
Yeah.
We were just like, hi, are you next? Okay. Here's $10 million.
I didn't
Yeah.
get on this gig.
That company's out of business now, so don't
Oh,
worry.
okay.
It's
wow.
true, yeah. But then we transitioned into each other's passion projects, and we try to board game. We try to check in on each other. It's a great little network of friends / coworkers.
Yeah, there's definitely an extra bond of nerdism.
No, for sure.
I feel like, too, there's an extra bond of the Disney people, and you've met, obviously, Stephanie and Amanda, the people we've interviewed, because it's a little different in ball game Disney weddings, especially when you shoot for the company. And there's something about being in the trenches
Yeah,
together.
there's like
that's
trauma bonding.
Definitely trauma bond.
Yeah.
Well, that, and then there's the consistency of, like, in our world, like, the trust factor. Like, if I ask Jacob to go, hey, can you go grab the bride real quick? And I know his images are going to be solid, and I don't have to think about it, If I ask Dawn, hey, could you go detail the cake, or vice versa, like, it's going to be taken care of. Like, you need that trust, especially in our world, just because there's only 2 of us, or, we don't have time. And, in our world, time is the precious commodity that
Yeah.
we don't have enough of.
Yeah. That is always what we come up against.
Yeah. And what's your big play now?
For my passion project, well, in 2009-ish, I started this super small passion project of photographing cosplayers. And now it's evolved into a chaotic beast that we do a couple times a year, and it's just fun. I mean, it doesn't make a ton of money, and it just money that keeps going into keeping it going, honestly. But
Unlike this podcast.
correct, this podcast is gonna blow up. Yeah, I feel it. They're gonna have 2 microphones eventually.
That is a 2025 vision board.
Yeah,
December 2025.
Call back previous episode.
had to wait till now for the write-off. I get it. But like I've pooled my network of photographer friends, and they try it once and they're like, "Oh, this is cool," and then they all want to jump on the bandwagon. And
So what is it now? Like, what do you do?
so we work with
When I say
cons.
that, we do it too. So
Yeah.
I'm pretending not to know what you're
Spoiler.
talking about.
We work with cons. I approach the conventions. There's a couple select conventions that I look at, and I approach them and say, hey, we're here to help your cosplay community. We're here to make your guest feel special, important. We're here to provide a service to document them photographically. So they'll give us space, and we set up studios, and I look at the overall size of the convention, and I do look at some statistics per Jacob. And
I like stats.
he does like stats.
And Excel spreadsheets.
He is our rain man, and I appreciate it greatly. And then we set up professional studios, professional lighting, and we keep documenting cosplayers in a family-friendly environment, and mostly. And then we we provide that service. You know, we give a cosplayer or a family a photo session, professional. We take them through like poses. You know, we make them feel empowered, and then we show them the work right on site, which is a lot of my experience. Like when you take a guest up to a monitor or a reviewing station and they see like, you know, how cool they look or just not themselves that day, you know, like it's a great feeling.
And especially when it's so different from what they can capture on their phones.
Yep.
Right. Or on the con floor.
Yeah.
Like, yes.
Because there's a lot of photographers on con floors. They're just taking it in the middle of the aisle.
Right. You
Even
can't do anything drastic
correct.
with an on-camera flash. Whereas we have off-camera lighting, gels, grids.
Full backgrounds.
Yeah. So we're utilizing our skills as photographers, and it's great because the way the current photo plan is that we pair up, like we're trying to work in pairs. Like the photographer will have an assistant there, like changing gels, like helping with posing, like. So that way, it's even more a dynamic experience where the guest is like, "Oh wow, I'm a supermodel right now. Like, you know, this is awesome." And we get people that come back every day during a con, or sometimes twice or three times a day in different outfits, just
for different combinations of people.
Exactly, that are just like they're in it, and it's great. Like people seek us out more than some of the other things at a sci-fi comic book convention. They're like, "Oh, you're going to be there? I'm there too." Like it's great. Like, and as like a business plan, we keep it affordable. Like we don't want to gouge people. You know, the photo session's free. Like the time that we take with a guest or a cosplayer is free.
Yep. And other places charge like just a sitting fee.
Like a sitting fee. And we don't do that because my thing is like, they may not like the work. And you know, in the cosplay community, they may not have extra cash, but I still want them to feel like awesome. I want them to feel like they've done something. You know, a lot of people in the cosplay community, they spend so much time and money with these, like the detailed costumes and stuff.
Yeah.
Some people just buy it off Amazon, and that's fine. But like some people, they spend months working on these outfits and these personas. You know, it's a lot of fun.
And then I think something that's unique too to what you do is the printing.
Correct. I mean, that's what Jacob's main mission is. Like, we do on-site printing, like where if someone is passionate, because a lot of these people, they come in from all over the United States for some of these conventions, and if they want to take a print home or a digital download, we provide that service. Like, and there's no pressure, absolutely no pressure. And that's a big thing we stress. Like, I don't want to make anyone feel uncomfortable about like making a purchase. Like if you want something, cool, but if you don't, it's okay.
And I've seen the conversion rates. It
It
is very high.
Well, I'm normally working at one of the review stations.
Because that's where you want to be.
Exactly. And so I know too that the conversion rate is very, very high because I'll go an entire day and only have a handful of people that don't want to purchase something.
Right.
And we see like 100 plus in a day.
Yeah, I mean, I need to get my stats.
Work through those cobwebs.
Yeah, it's anything. I think it's roughly 40 sessions per studio on a busy day. That's 40 sessions. I mean,
And we had 3 studios last year at MegaCon.
So times 5 days.
Roughly about 600 sessions a weekend.
yeah.
Give or take.
So like over 100 a day.
Yeah.
And some of those sessions are individual. Some of those sessions are families. Like, we see a lot of people.
One of my favorites ever was the group that came in, and they come in every year, the group of friends that came in as the Addams Family. Oh my gosh. They like completely nailed their cosplay that year. And they came back in a different combination of group, and then they all wanted individuals. And
Correct. Yeah,
so.
it's just, you know, it's like we're like a family photographer for nerds.
Yeah.
Honestly, like we're capturing people's we're part of their adventure that weekend. You know, it's great.
And you would think that they would, but I just never realized how many of them never have had professional photos done. And they're just blown away And like we're not doing any new techniques on these stuff. I mean, yeah, we're obviously not just on camera flash where we have multiple lights, gels if it's needed. But like it's still pretty traditional for at least for us.
Right.
But maybe it's not because, you know, we all grew up in Disney, so we have that extra flair for lighting and gels and I don't know.
Yeah.
But it's just something that
it's still pretty popular for like the light and airy look, right?
Yeah.
The natural light look. So even if they've had family photos taken somewhere else, like they most likely didn't have a lot of off-camera lighting, which can change the experience a lot.
But with full-length backdrops, I mean, we've had Spider-Mans do backflips, catching them upside down. People thought we just took the photo and reversed it, but no, we actually caught it upside down. Like, it looks like he's hanging upside down like Spider-Man.
Having a Scarlet Witch just jump straight up like and just look like she's floating, you know, like, we just have fun. Like, we bounce off each other, and if it's something that, like, if the subject or cosplayer doesn't know the poses, like, we have a panel of other photographers on their phones, like, Googling poses, and it's like, what about this? What about this? Yeah. You know, we have, you know, some fun music going in the background, and we just create an environment. Like, you know, that whole, like, studio vibe, like, you know.
Well, like, we'll get into this, but we just did a holiday version.
Correct.
And we had a Elphaba come in, and she looked phenomenal. And so we just cranked up Defying Gravity. And it was just all of a sudden, like, she went from shy, kind of timid to, like...
owning it.
Yeah. Oh, that's so cool.
And then with that, too, like, Elphaba alone, and then her friend, who was Glinda, was she was working at the convention and couldn't get there till later. And, like, 30 minutes before the con, they come in running together, and then we got to do some stuff with them together.
Oh,
so
fun.
Yeah, it was great. Like, it was a lot of fun.
Limited. Together we're... Oh,
We have rights for that, right?
yeah, we did.
Okay, cool.
I only did it for 10 seconds, so it's fine.
Jacob's artistic rendition. It's fine.
I know
it's
about
not
you.
It's
not all close enough to
karaoke
the real
version.
thing.
Okay,
Got
first
it.
off, it was perfectly on key.
Perfect G.
Lyrics were on book. I know multiple people that have been in Wicked, so legally I'm good.
Okay.
I'm sure we've heard of his Broadway couple.
So what's the name of this joint? Show us what you got here.
This is called The Project.
So that's the name of the...
Correct. It was just something,
Yeah.
you know, you know, what is it? And now they've named shows The Project and whatnot, so it really doesn't matter. But it was called The Project. This is book 1, and my first real session, if you will, was 2009.
Dang.
So how was what did you do for the very first one? Because I don't know this story.
So
I didn't know you.
yeah, so for the first one, I paid for the space. I paid like $2,000 for a 10x10, and I was there basically alone doing everything. And it was just I went in with a plan of, like, you know, as photographers, like, we look at other photography, and I went in with, like, this Abaddon vibe, like, backdrop, neutral backdrop, one light, portraits. So I was in the middle of, like, all these vendors doing pictures.
Just on the show floor?
Just on the show floor. And it really wasn't for the money. It was like I took my tax return that year, and I'm like, I'm just going to try this. And
The hell's a tax return? Oh, that's right. You're an employee.
yeah.
A tax return? I'll Google that. I
Yeah,
don't know what
Google
that.
Okay. Yeah.
Okay.
But so I just did it. I had, you know, my 40D or whatever at the time, and, you know, had a tripod, and then I had a single printer, a single computer, and that was it. And it was fun. It was a complete new world, and I didn't have that many sessions. I probably had 100 sessions in a weekend, but looking at the work and how people got into it and kind of respected it, like, you know,
And this was at MegaCon,
Yeah, my first MegaCon.
Wow.
which is here in Orlando.
Yes.
For those that don't know.
And coming up very soon.
Yeah.
Very soon. Very soon. But we're excited. I'm excited.
But you went from, because I joined in, 2014 maybe?
Ish, yeah.
And you were still had a booth, but you had 2 booths.
Correct. So it slowly grew, and then we went from like a 10 foot by 20, and I don't know how. Well, I know how we did it, but I don't know how we made it work. But we crammed 2 studios
God.
in that space. Jacob is on one side printing. I'm on the other.
But I was against the backdrop, so I had to suck it in every time.
All of it.
I stood for the entire weekend.
Oh my gosh.
Yeah, we created vertical workstations
Yeah.
where the photographer's basically shooting over our backsides to shoot the shot, and
And they're in the aisleway.
yeah, the
The
photographer.
backdrop was the entire...
Well, my first time was your last year on the show floor. Mm-hmm. Before you had your own space.
Yeah. So, and then to take it to what we do, now we hope we're in these little breakout rooms and we can kind of control the space. I know, talking with MegaCon about the future, we're going to be in what they call their cosplay alley, or their everything cosplay will be in that section of the room this year, which I'm excited for, because one of our positions is kind of like a cosplay wrangler. We send people out just to grab good cosplay, because there's so much. It's like sensory overload at a con. I don't know if you've been there, but it's like shiny objects, and it's loud, and it's like people moving everywhere. People get overwhelmed, and it's okay, Dawn, to be overwhelmed. but we send people out to like help people find us, and we find great cosplay, and they're like, oh, we've been looking for you, or oh, whatever. But it's like we bring them to us, respectively, of course. Like we have flyers, and we'll do a lot of social to get people to know where we're at, and it's just fun. Like and with the controlled space, a lot of the cosplay now, they're like, oh, good, I can like sit down for a minute, or they can freshen up, or just
It's a little less chaotic.
And I
a
know,
little less chaotic.
I know in the when we were started getting into those 4 booths, when we were still on the floor in the middle, it was getting insane. And then other vendors were getting mad because we would have lines of people waiting to check in, and it was blocking them. So was it last year was our first year in our room? 2 years ago?
3 years ago, yeah.
Was it?
Yeah.
But I remember being nervous because it was like,
Yeah, 'cause
who's
we
gonna
weren't
find
close
us?
enough, yeah.
They found you. They found all of us.
Well, it's just not me, and now it's an us.
I know.
And I couldn't fathom doing this without the people and that's a part of it. Like I've had photographers that I didn't accidentally invite back because they didn't fit well with our groove, and like I would be lost without the team that I have, to be very honest. And moving what I hope to be forward, like I have a core team, and they all have their lanes, and a lot of people are taking on stuff for them now, which is great. Like this is an outlet, I think, for people. Like this year at MegaCon, I'm hoping to have our first like official stylist in the booth to like help judge people, and then she's going to be able to network with cosplayers because she's a seamstress. So hopefully she'll be able to network with our people about making better costumes.
That's cool.
Yeah, we'll
Did
see.
Dawn lie about being a seamstress? Because she's done this before.
I'm sorry.
Yeah, I know.
Do you think I'm a stylist?
I mean,
That's a second question I'm not answering.
Yeah,
This podcast. You look great.
she clearly watched Wicked.
Yes.
Back to Wicked. It's always about Wicked.
Always.
But like we're just always growing. Like we think of things, and some ideas don't work. Like the year we tried to shoot Tethered, and it was just like it did not work. We just had to pivot, unplug the camera, go back to what we know, and that's a part of photography too. Like
Jacob and I are familiar with tethering failing at the worst possible
So
time.
bad. Dawn, please come.
I mean, it just
Internet.
Oh god, internet.
The internet. Because we do
Yeah,
digital
because you have-
downloads.
and taking payments.
Yeah.
Like without internet.
Yeah, and just being a good partner to the con. Like we've had people that were presenting, hey, do you have XYZ cord? And I'm like, give me a minute. And I go find it so they can do their presentation or whatever. You
Dean
know?
always has whatever
Yes.
cord you need.
Do you overpack?
Yes.
Yes.
Do you bring 5 extra TV monitors and,
Yeah.
and 400 extra sheets of paper for printing?
Yes.
Yeah.
Because I have a blue sky vision that will go through it all. Mm-hmm. But, you know, it's like, you know, it's like the cruise stuff that we've all worked on with Amanda.
Mm-hmm.
It's like
Previous episode.
Yeah.
previous episode. If you don't slightly overpack and you're at sea,
Yeah.
This is true.
you know, like I will bring a extra camera or 2, and then like Jacob will need it for something. Like, you know, something will go wrong, and it's like,
Can we share the story of what happened last MegaCon on our way out of the con? You missed it
Yeah, I don't know
because
what
you
you're
weren't
talking
there.
about.
oh, with the trailer,
Yes.
Sparky.
Yes.
Okay.
Since we're talking about
I mean,
packing,
since we're talking about packing, yeah.
so a lot of times what comes into the con is coming in multiple vehicles or trips, or maybe it's Dean's car with the car filled plus the trailer filled.
Correct.
But when we actually have the days of the con, we're normally like all meeting somewhere and carpooling in so that we're not all trying to park in the vendor parking. And that means when we're on our way out, we're all carpooling. So I was in Dean's car. Me and Ryan were in Dean's car with one other person and you. Mm-hmm. So we're a full car plus the trailer. So everything that should have been in the car part was shoved into the trailer.
The trailer was at maximum capacity. Yes.
It was well past maximum capacity.
Dean drives a Toyota Corolla, so
Whatever.
And his small SUV was towing this trailer, and your wife was in the car behind us, and she calls, and you have her on speakerphone, and she's like screaming because the trailer is dragging on the ground and sparking the whole way back to where we had our cars parked.
it's fine.
It was fine. I mean, it was aluminium. It's fine. It's
Was that the
designed-
same year that the
The
trailer...
rented trailer, by
Yes.
the way.
Was that the same one that detached on the way there? When you went up over a
Year
bump?
before, yeah.
And the trailer just went, no, I'm going this way.
I didn't know that.
They were in a parking lot, though.
Yeah, it
so-
was in a parking lot. It was completely safe. It had the safeties on. It's fine.
It's fine. It's fine. I don't think I will ever forget Rose's voice, like screaming and cackling about the trailer, like catching on fire. And then all the texting that was going, because we have a group chat for the con. So the things happening in the group chat between like the cars, the other people in the cars behind us.
Yeah.
That's great.
Yeah.
Much fun.
Jacob's favorite thing, though, is to send naughty texts to my talk-to-text while I'm driving.
I will say naughty things and then hit send.
And then it's just like, oh, God, what do I... Play. Blah, 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 blah.
We'll beep that out, don't worry.
Yeah.
Beep.
Oh, man.
It's good stuff.
It is good stuff.
When's your next project? The project convention.
The next big project convention will be MegaCon
Heyo, and when is it?
2025. That'll be the...
Bro, it is 2025.
Why? It'll be the first big weekend of February, 6 through 9, at the Orlando Convention Center.
Orange County Convention Center.
The OCCCC. Yes. We will be on the second floor, south side, room 230.
Sure.
Sure. I mean,
When you
that's...
say we, I will be there.
I will be there.
Heyo.
Heyo.
If you want to meet us all in person.
Maybe we can do a makeshift interview with cosplayers podcast.
We'll be
I don't know,
doing a
like a
live
model.
podcast there.
We should.
Interview the Smithers.
We have no idea how.
We'll figure something
we
out.
Should.
We'll be live streaming. Just all the things we do not want to do. And we'll be tethering for some reason.
Not to mention, we're not going to have time to do
Yeah,
any of that
correct.
because
I mean, first day is usually a touch slow.
that's true. That's true.
We could do an interview before the con. Like, you should do a time lapse of the setup, and then
Yeah.
oh god, we tried that once. But no, like it. I'm excited. We're also looking towards the future. Like last year we did something a little spontaneous. We took this show on the road to Chicago.
We sure did.
And there was some definite learnings there, but it was a lot of fun. Like and I think the cosplay community in Chicago really like kind of accepted us into their world, and it was just the biggest part of this is the fun. Like we all get bogged down and burnt out with our day-to-day photography in many ways. Like, so we just, I just keep doing this for fun. Like it's
that's why we're doing this podcast.
Exactly. Like, and you know, to show mutual appreciation and just photograph something different. Like, this is fun. Like to make, like your friends that came, like, you know, they were dressed up as wrestlers and like to embrace it, like to like make them feel.
I came out of retirement to shoot that one.
Yeah, it was great. Like there was some solid images. Like, and looking at the stuff that we just shot at our most recent con, like the work is just getting so much better. Like people are like finding their groove with it. Like Maddie, Corinne, Kevin, like Dan, they're all just like coming up with these big ideas and just nailing it. And I kind of just like, I'm like a proud daddy. I just want to sit in the back like, yeah.
You're definitely a daddy.
Yeah.
Zaddy.
Sure. Zaddy. But, and then too, like with the printing, like Jacob, like he owns that world. And you know, like little Dawn in the corner in her view, she's like, that's where she wants to be. Like looking at most of the work and like talking people up that really don't need any encouraged. Like you just.
Yeah, I really don't have to sell much because people are so excited to see their pictures. And most of the time it's me helping them. Like, oh, no, I think this one, like, if they're stuck between two or they can only afford one picture or, you know, like, we want them to be happy about the purchase. It's not like a real sales position, right?
Not
where
at all.
You're, like, forcing their hand or, like, tricking them into a bigger package
No,
or anything.
that's my big thing.
I genuinely get to tell them, like, okay, this one's badass. You should really get this one if you can only get one.
And it's contagious. You see it all the time. When they review it, you're like, whoa. And they're like, yeah, okay. And then other people see it and they're like...
Yeah, because I'm seeing the picture for the first time the same time they are.
Yep.
So my reactions are genuinely excited.
And then too, like with it, like as a photographer, like they might be picking one that's an okay image, but then you can lead them to the stronger image and tell them why. You know, and that's just being a professional of what we do, you know.
Since I'm controlling, I do all the kind of the back end. So I do file management, printing, editing, and we'll do light editing. We'll actually do retouching as well. If it's a little bit more,
That's
if they
like an
want
upgrade.
a full, but like, you know, it's that little thing where they have this great shot and their little wristband is showing. We'll get that out of there, of course. You know what I mean?
Yeah. And then for some of our guests that are a little more sensitive, like we do offer like a full face retouch or something like that, just to make like the skin more. Like smooth it out. And then I was talking we had a meeting last night. I was talking with some of the team that I want to offer, like, I want to go to like Ulta and go get like the like a couple of different powders and some oil sheets or something. Cause you know, like it's warm
Some
on that
hairspray.
Yeah. Just to make a little zhuzh station if we need it,
basics.
you know?
Yeah, the oil sheets is a really good idea.
Yeah. I got ideas.
You got one good idea in your life. Run with it.
And then too, like we're looking towards the future. Like, do we want to go to Chicago again? And the consensus is yes. We just have to work out. The consensus is yes.
Can I fly this time?
You can fly this time, but then you'll miss Quattros.
Oh, okay, then I will fly.
So
And you won't get to go to Buc-ee's.
Do I have to go to your household childhood home again, or
no, I'll have my mom come to us.
Okay.
Yeah. That was a side quest when anyway.
it was still fun.
It was still fun.
I got the full Dean experience.
Yeah.
Didn't know there was a Carbondale, Illinois.
It's been on his name tag for all these years.
I just found out his name was Dean. So
It's true. But no, it's you know, like what do we want to do next? Like pipe dream, I would love to go do Broadway Con in New York, but that's always the same time as MegaCon. But you know, like there's other great cons out there. I honestly, I would love to go to San Diego Comic-Con, but I don't know how we would structure that and or survive.
You'd have to do
Or pay
digital
for it.
only. Yeah.
And I'd probably have to use a lot of local talent because like that's That's
To
MegaCon
fly
on
them in.
crack.
Yeah.
You know, we'd have to have like 30 stations or something.
You just keep growing with MegaCon. You have in with the people. You're well liked. You have the contacts. You just keep.
Yeah.
And MegaCon isn't just in Orlando. The company that runs MegaCon,
They're all over the United
all
States
over the
and
United
Canada.
States. Yeah,
I didn't know that.
yeah. That's
Yeah.
the one we did in Chicago. Was
Oh, it was
part
the
of
same
that,
one.
yeah.
Oh, okay.
they just call it?
Right, whatever.
Yeah,
The bigger company is called Fan Expo.
there you go. Yeah,
But
Okay.
Chicago World or the Chicago Con, like next year or maybe down the road, I would love to do Chicago and then the weekend after they do a con in Toronto. So 6-hour drive over to Toronto, but the Toronto con is as big or bigger than MegaCon.
Just look up some rules about operating your business
I
across
know. The
country's
border, eh?
borders. Just a little research.
I'm not legally
Good job.
allowed in Canada.
I just need to find.
There are passports involved.
Yeah.
and
Well, that's
things.
it. I'm doing some research now, and it's I would have to get visas for every photographer to do. It's just a whole big thing.
It is a big thing.
Yeah.
I didn't realize what a big thing. I was talking to one of my friends who works for the State Department, and I had been prompted in some networking thing, if you had no restrictions, what would your dream be? And I was like, how cool would it be to travel the world during their peak season? So go to Tokyo and do portrait sessions with the cherry blossoms, and then go to Europe where the tulip fields are and do pictures there, and just travel around the world. He's like, you can't just travel the world and run your business in other countries without permission. And I was like, oh,
It's the most American thing I've ever heard.
I hadn't gotten that far with my dream. Okay, it was just
I go where I
step
want, when I
one.
want, when I shoot what I want.
Well, and
Don't pay nothing.
And then too, unfortunately, with all the world of YouTube and social media, we see great photographers just traveling the world, and we don't know anything about how
Yeah.
they run their business, or the fact that they're classifying it under a vacation, and then they get home and just submit images. It's a whole gray area. And the gray is scary sometimes. It's
Yeah.
Okay.
Is that coming from some of our
I don't
stuff?
know. Are cameras exploding or is that outside?
might be outside.
All
I
right.
think outside.
Leave it
okay.
But it's what even with some of the cruise work that we do, it's because it's in international waters.
Yeah, it's fine.
It's fine.
Yeah.
You started and ended in the
Uh-huh.
United States. I
Yeah,
think it's fine.
yeah.
Well, I know you just recently did Holiday Matsuri, which is going to bring us to our next segment, which is talking about what we photographed this week.
Okay.
So,
But we should say we are behind because
Yeah.
of the holidays. We've already said it's 2025.
I'm sure, as you all have assumed, we can't record these episodes and then immediately publish them. And so what we're talking about is always in the past
Yeah.
from when you're watching it, and maybe not as recently in the past as you might think.
We want to make sure the event is okay to talk about
Right, yeah. So,
and things like that. So,
so
it
yeah,
was the holiday.
we are talking about the middle of December.
Yeah.
Just to be completely transparent. But why don't you go first, Dean?
So I shot a couple weddings before Holiday Matsuri.
Yep.
While you're packing
While I'm
everything?
packing. So I did 2 weddings before Holiday Matsuri, a portrait session before Holiday Matsuri, and then Holiday Matsuri pack in and load in itself, which actually went very smoothly.
Really
for,
smooth. Well, we've been packing and unloading so many times that
Yeah.
we have a pretty good system now.
Well, and then too, it helps with the team that we have. I can just say, "All right, guys, let's go for it," and they just all go. I don't. In the past, it used to be I was sitting in the middle of chaos, telling people what to do, and now they just do it, which is beautiful. And then we have slimmed down the pack, and we don't bring as much.
What is Holiday Matsuri?
Holiday Matsuri was a
Just for those that.
it was an anime-based convention. It was our first time there, and it was their actual first time in this space.
Yeah.
It was at the OCCCC, Orange County Convention
many
Center.
Cs. Yeah.
It's too many C's. But so as a convention, they are definitely getting bigger, and they put us up in a professional photo room, which was great. But unfortunately, it was kind of in not bad location, but not ideal location.
Especially for your first time.
Yeah.
Exactly. So if we do move forward, I'm for a next con. They had so much room in the actual convention space. I would recommend that we move out there. Just because a lot of probably half to 75% of our business is just kind of walk up. So we need that curb appeal, if you will. So people see what we're doing. We just didn't have that. So we had to utilize a lot of like our go-getters to go get people, which is fine, but I'd rather have them in the space like working, you know, helping with the sessions, exactly. And reviewing and making, you know. So it was a great convention. We had some really strong work, like some like the Wicked shoot and just some others were just looking at the work this past week. It's just been like, wow. Like we know what we're doing. Like, this is amazing. So it's a good feeling.
Yeah, I liked following along because I couldn't come this year. So I liked following along with, like, when you guys post the photographer favorites at the end of every day and have people vote.
Yeah. It was definitely really a good show.
I was surprised. I've never been to Holiday Matsuri, so I thought it was going to be a ton more anime-focused in the cosplay even. But it looked like there was a pretty good variety.
Oh, yeah, it's a great mix. Like, it's just like any convention nowadays. It's like, you know, dress as who you want.
Yeah,
like come as who you are. Come as who you are or who want to be. You know, it's like there's no.
There was a lot of Christmas themed. It was your favorite character, but wearing a Santa hat.
Yeah,
that's cute.
Or like a raven, and instead of wearing her traditional black and purple, she was wearing like Christmas colors and like add twinkle lights, and it was kind of fun. It was kind of fun, yeah.
Darth Vader wearing a big Santa jacket and things like that.
Yeah,
Gotcha.
with
That's
a candy cane lightsaber.
Yeah.
Oh, man.
See?
Stupid work.
Yeah.
just block out next year now. Yeah, right. Oh, yeah.
I don't even think I can. I think I'm already booked for that.
Oh, calm down. I'm already booked.
She's just
Well, it's hard when it's on a weekend and busy season.
I know.
What did you shoot? You go.
Okay, so since I wasn't at Holiday Matsuri, what did I do? Okay, so I'd had a senior portrait session for a UCF graduate. So that was fun. She was a double major, so we had like 2 different diplomas and her 2 different tassels, and we just did a ton of different combinations with her, you know, graduation robes and not. And she is the older sister of one of my bar mitzvah clients. So that's how we got connected. So it's always nice when you're like working with the same people over and over again. So so that was really fun. And then I had
What airplane? What? Sorry.
Oh my gosh. The what bowl game was here? Citrus Bowl?
Pop-Tart
Bowl.
Pop-Tart Bowl.
The planes that did the flyover flew right over top of our house, and we didn't know what was happening.
So
World War
we
III,
thought we were about to be under a plane.
The Russians are coming.
So loud. Okay. Anyways, of course we were trying to nap too, so like Ryan flew over the side of the couch to run outside to see what was happening. And then I also had a Christmas festival. For like one of the local Catholic centers, which was really fun. They had like over 1,000 people there, and they had like a station with free hot cocoa and free cookies, and they had like a booth where you could buy food, and they had a whole building set aside just for arts and crafts. They had these little kits to make ornaments, and it was so cute. And they had like the nuns singing and playing music, and it was really fun. And then I had a wedding. And it was like one of the longest weddings of my life. I mean, not really. I've had longer, but it felt like it. It was
giggity.
Yeah.
It was like 10 plus hours of just nonstop, and I was by myself. So it was
That's way too much.
exhausting.
It's Christmas.
Like 22 in the wedding party, 50 something in all the family photos. I was losing my voice. It was a long day. And then Jake and I had a job together.
Yay.
So we had a corporate holiday party for a company. This is our 3rd year.
3rd year? Seems like 50.
Yeah, 3rd year working with them. But yeah, they just, they have food and drink and music. And then we got connected because one of the DJ that they use is one of the DJs we work with for bar and bat mitzvahs all the time.
Yeah.
So, we get to see him, hang out. And then...
Pretty easy gig. when it's
Yeah.
all said and done. Just take pictures of people mingling, getting together.
Yeah, they do raffle prizes.
CEO gets up, wants a couple photos of him doing his, rah-rah.
They do a champagne toast on stage with the whole executive team. They recognized, this year they recognized, like, all of their performers. They had set, like, a 5-year goal for the company of, like, who could double or triple their income, because it's a lot of sales people, who could double or triple their income in the 5-year mark. So they were, like, honoring all of those people that achieved that. So we got to do those pictures, and
That was it.
yeah, it's pretty fun.
It's a holiday party.
Yep. I did not get to get
Are you done?
one of the cute desserts.
It's all right.
At a candy cane. I wanted it. We didn't get any. Anyways, so Jacob, what else did you do?
So I did. Well, first off, I was second with Stephanie on a Universal, and the reason this one was fun it was because it was an actual surprise proposal.
Ooh.
So we knew about the proposal, but it was a family from Atlanta. I think that's outside.
I hope it's outside.
What the? Is Ryan brushing his teeth?
I think someone's cutting down a tree.
Okay. So they were a family from Atlanta, and the son was in the armed forces, so he was home, and he's going to propose to his girlfriend. And they were there for a family portrait, as always, because, he had to do it. But I know Stephanie's package offers makeup. So you also had to, they had to fake it, like, why is the girl getting hair and makeup? But she's like, oh, no, it just comes with the family portrait, So it's family portrait, and they were into Harry Potter. It was Harry Potter themed. And they had robes, and so we did some family portraits in front of the castle. And then we did the shot where, like, they turned back to back, and they turned with their wands.
Oh my
And so
goodness.
she was there, and he had a ring in the snitch.
Oh my
golden
goodness,
snitch.
yes.
So, we were like, okay, practice a couple times so she could see him do it. And then when we were ready, he already got on a knee. And so she flew around like, abracadabra! But then saw him, and it was a very cute moment.
Oh, that is so cute.
Jacob, what's your house?
What?
What's your house?
My house? Slytherin. Please, come on. Please. Slytherin. I was like, my house, Winter Garden. I was about to give the address.
I'm a Ravenclaw.
Yeah.
Hence all the books.
I have a hint of Ravenclaw because of my wit. But it's mostly Slytherin because I'm dead inside.
It's true.
Yeah. Then I had an engagement of my own at Mead Garden. And it was weird because just the time works. It was in the morning. And you go to a place where you shoot in the afternoon a lot. So you kind of know the spots. And then you get there in the morning, you're like, well, that's not where the sun is.
Oh, that's so opposite for me. I'm always in the morning.
Really?
At Mead.
I'm always
and
in
I
the
had
morning.
one in the afternoon, and I was like,
Yeah.
crap.
Yeah.
What's the opposite? Do the opposite.
It's
That's not where the sun is. That's completely different. I don't know what to do. But of course, cool and calm and
Oh,
collective.
Sure. Of course.
And then again, holiday party, met Suri. I also helped with the convention. So that was my week.
My eyes twitching.
I could see.
Going back and thinking about that was my last busy week.
Yeah.
So I still haven't finished editing the things from that week.
Correct.
So okay, time for a fun part.
Yeah.
So, Dean,
In honor of Dean.
how many cruises have you been on?
Working cruises, probably 40-ish. And then life cruises for fun, 37-ish.
I did not know this. Is
I
this
didn't
new?
know this either.
Is this new information? You like cruises?
I do. I
Oh.
do like a good cruise.
So, in honor of that, we're all gonna talk about our top 3 favorite cruise ships
In general.
in general.
Not lines, just ships.
ships.
Okay.
Boats themselves.
Okay.
It's a ship. I think it's.
I
They
was
get
just-
mad if you call it a boat, isn't
They
it
do.
true?
They get really
Yeah.
mad if you call it a boat.
They can throw me overboard. I don't know.
They might. It's a new service.
Top 3.
Oh, I didn't do honorable mentions.
I don't have an honorable mention.
Okay, good. So what's your number 3?
My number 3 is probably all my ships are going to be Disney based for the tops, let's face it.
Okay.
We'll beat that up.
Probably the Disney Fantasy.
All right.
It's more like a 7-day cruise, which is actually a little long time-wise for me because I get a little stir-crazy, but just great vibes, 7 days and away from life. Number 2...
We're all gonna share our number 3 first,
Oh,
and then you'll get to do number 2.
Okay.
We didn't.
We did not prep. You did not get me ready. Okay.
You're ruining it.
And go.
Now, what's your number 3?
Oh, I needed more time.
Okay, I'll go. My number 3 is when I went on recently, a couple years ago. It was the Harmony of the Seas. It's one of those gigantic Royal Caribbean where it has a central park in it. I think it holds 50,000 people. Don't quote me on that. It feels like it.
Sounds completely accurate.
But it literally is a floating city. We went on it just for the spectacle of it. Would I want to go on it all the time? No, I prefer the little smaller ships. But it was pretty fun. The kids had a great time. There is 1,000 things to do, but it is ridiculous in the best way and the worst way. But I'll give it a number 3.
Okay, I'm gonna give number 3 to Celebrity. I believe it's the Equinox. And this is only because it's the first and only so far cruise that Ryan and I have done together. Even though I was working. But it was the smallest ship I've ever been on. See, I said ship.
Okay.
The smallest one I've ever been on. But they had like really fun, and maybe it's just because it was like one of the first ones I did as an adult without my family. But they had a lot of like cool spa features. Like they had this whole like atrium space with these loungers in the water in like the spa area. It was pretty nice.
Dawn doesn't do a lot of cruising.
No, I don't.
I think she was like, they had a buffet and
No.
they had rooms on the ship with a bed.
They had someone make my bed.
No, my room on that ship was so low on the bottom of the ship, the water was coming up on our window.
You had a window.
We had a window.
See, there you go.
But it was also, almost underwater.
That's fair.
So yeah, go ahead, number 2.
Number 2 is probably the Disney Wish. I mean, it's not my favorite ship for being one of the newer ships.
It's number 2, so it's got to be your favorite.
I just love some of the on deck food features. Like they have barbecue 24/7 in like a little mini Chipotle. It was like it's good times. And then 2, like again, it's beautiful ship. It's Disney vibes. I as someone who does work for Disney, I love that they.
No shit.
I just love that they take care of us. They make us feel like every guest, which is kind of awesome.
I will say, Disney cruises are definitely my favorite. They're obviously the most expensive, but they are my favorite because everything that I kind of hate about cruising, Disney doesn't do. You know what I mean? Like I don't care about the casinos.
Yep.
I'm not a big casino guy.
Yep.
Like a lot of the cheesiness of cruising.
Oh, here's your drink package.
Yeah.
They don't do drink packages.
Disney's very not about that life. And yeah, you know what? If I want to watch a Disney movie in a movie theater, that's my vibe. Even without kids. So I don't know. I just never found the other cruise ships. I don't care about getting drunk and falling asleep on a lounger somewhere in the sun.
Yeah.
Yep.
Jacob, when he does get drunk, he just wants to go to sleep. So
First off, drunk Jacob is a delight. And he doesn't come out very often, and you should be honored if you get to meet him.
He keeps saying that, but I've never witnessed.
No, people live for drunk Jacob.
it's a lot.
Amanda corroborated.
It's a lot.
But
Swallow.
It's a lot.
What's your number 2?
okay, my number 2 is probably the Disney Dream.
Hey.
I mean, like you said, it's a Disney ship, so everything's perfect.
Yeah.
I liked the layout of the ship. I really liked the movie theater, the shows, the food. Yeah. I liked too. I've only been on the one, maybe 2. I think both of my Disney cruises were on the Dream, but I liked how you rotated for dinner. Instead of going to the same main dining room for dinner every night.
Things like that where they said we're not going to do the same stuff that everyone else does.
Yeah.
Yeah. So that's my number 2. Oh, and the fireworks, the Pirate Night. Actually, I just accidentally somehow the bandana you get from Pirate Night was mixed into my laundry somehow, and so I just washed it. And Ryan was like, "What is this?
Are you wearing
why
underwear?
Do you have this?" But that was literally this morning. So yeah, Disney Dream.
To go with the Disney, number 2, Disney Wonder. And that was a recent one because we went on an Alaska cruise 2 years ago. 2 years ago. It'll be 2 years ago this summer.
Yeah.
And that was the best cruise I've ever taken. So just whatever ship the Disney ship would have been, it would have been there. But the fact that it was a Wonder, it was one of the original ships. It's smaller, but I don't know, I liked it. I liked its quaintness. I liked its, and then the Alaska cruise as a whole was phenomenal. So, the Disney Wonder. Number 2.
Okay. What's your top favorite ship ever?
My top is probably the Disney Dream.
Yeah.
Honestly, because full disclosure, I got married on the Disney Dream, and
No shit.
Jacob was there,
I was there.
and it just that one's always got a good vibe for me for that reason. Just with its availability, it's probably the ship actually now that I've been on most. But I do appreciate that now that their fleet is growing, like it's going to some very cool places. We took the Dream in Italy this summer. That was a lot of fun, and yeah, like anytime I can get on a ship is just a great time in general.
Yeah.
So
My top one, I went on the ship many, many years ago, so I don't remember which actual one it is, but it was Princess Cruise Lines. And mostly it's my favorite because that was just like, I was in college, so it was like I was on a boat like as an adult, but I was still with my family, but I like went off on my own and made all these new friends who I still talk to. This was in 2003. So, I mean, I've been friends with these people for decades at this point. Like, it was just, it was a cool, special vacation. It's never really happened like that again, so.
My number 1 is also the Disney Dream, because I've only been on 2 Disney cruises, or 2 Disney ships. But the Dream, for whatever reason, was, since it used to be here in Port Canaveral, like you could always get a deal. Like I've been on it 900 times. But it was the first Disney cruise I ever did. So it means a lot, because I was just like, that was the first time I was like, whoa, this is much different than the other cruises I've been on. And it was also my favorite cruise as well of it was right after when they reopened for COVID. We made the decision to go on one of those cruises and then get the cast member rate. It was like $4 a day. There was 800 people on the ship.
Gosh.
A ship that can hold 2,000. There was 800 people. It was amazing.
That's crazy.
Yeah, because I always kicked myself from when Magic Kingdom and all those reopened. I didn't go right away, and I wish I had seen those 1,000 people inside Magic Kingdom. Yeah. So I was like, when the cruise line reopened, I was like, we're doing it, and we did, and it was phenomenal.
So I have a fun story about the celebrity boat that I was on.
Yeah.
When we were docked in one of the cities, I don't know if it was the Harmony of the Seas or the Icon. One of the
There's
giant
15 of them now, so
Royal Caribbean ships pulled in next to us.
it's embarrassing.
And Ryan and I were on the top deck of our ship, and we were like this, looking up. It was, double the height, I think. It was so gigantic.
We were on their private island, and we pulled in next to one of their other ships, and it was like, that's it.
That's all you got.
That's all you got. So, yeah.
Fun times. That's one thing we haven't done together. We haven't been on a cruise ship together.
You've never
You guys
done-
leave me out all the time.
we invite you.
Yeah. And you've never done the 80s
know.
cruises and stuff?
It's so hard.
Rena, are you going? You're going, right?
Yeah.
End of February, beginning of March.
Yeah. I will be covering some stuff for you while you're gone.
Correct.
The cruise gigs are great, but honestly, it's not about.
Those aren't vacations.
Yeah, those aren't vacations, and it's not really about the cruise. In many cases, it's about the people we're working with. To be honest, like we want to have fun with them, yes, but we also want to make sure that everyone's kind of taken care of. Like it's our bubble, like
Yeah.
I barely even know we're on a cruise ship. We're running around so much.
We get like a half hour to play a board game, and we're content. You
Yeah.
know.
Okay.
That's how we end it.
All
That's
right.
it. Dean,
Bye.
see us at MegaCon. We'll all be there.